whenever you wanted to
Where should I
start talking about it. Just whatever you want to say.
This is the old Black Brook Schoolhouse. My mom went to school there too, and so did I for a while, till I was in the second grade. And it's a picture of the kids. They were about 15 or 16 there.
I'll sit in this chair here. Yeah, that'll be better. There, I got you and the book then.
There's a picture of me there, and my sister there, and all the rest of Rugrats. And that's a picture of us fishing at over by the lake there. There's a picture of me and Bill Lane and Uncle Bill. There's a picture of my mother and her brother, Uncle Bill, when they were little. And I don't know too much about these here. That's Liz's daughter and Orville. Liz is a sister of my Grandma Hamilton.
I'm sorry, I was in the way.
Then I graduated from a school out west, and there were only 3 of us in this little country school that graduated.
Where out west was that?
It's just north of McMinnville, Oregon. It's just a little school out in the country. And this is a picture of my sister and me and my mom when we hit the roadside camp staying at Salem, Oregon. And this is my sister and I when we come back to around Webster, Black Brook. That's the first day of school we went coming here now. She was a freshman and I was a junior, I guess. And that's a picture of us both again, my sister and I. This is the Longshore family.
Now, how are they?
Well, it's, I was trying to think. My grandma was a Longshore, and grandpa. And this is a picture of my stepbrother, Willard Lane, and his wife when they got married. That's a picture of Willard Lane, Minnie Hamilton, and Wilma, and Bill. This is a picture of me and Willard. I don't know what we're planning there. It's hard to say. Probably can't think of anything we weren't planning. This is Bill Lane, and me and my ma. And that's the Lane tribe there. Let's see. This is right north of the Black Brook Schoolhouse there. There's a little house there. This is my grandma, and Bill, and me, and Nancy. She stayed with us for a while there.
What was the circumstances with that?
Well, that's my Uncle Bill's daughter, Nancy. And she stayed with Grandma for a while, because they didn't want Grandma to stay alone in the house, you know. Yes, Uncle Bill's Bakery. He's in, I think that's the one that's in Appleton. He had one in Green Bay, too.
Was he always a baker?
Yeah, well, not always. When I was born, he worked out in the oil fields with my dad and my grandpa in Midwest, Wyoming. Yeah, this is Minnie Hamilton, John and Dorothy, cousin Nancy, and Nancy Kinred, her name is now. Her husband just died just lately. This is John McEwen, that's me, and a friend of mine, Moss. They were up to see us. Here's a picture of the bakers. He must have been the military days. He was baking in the army or something, I suppose.
Was he in the? That's your uncle then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was in the military too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For a little bit. Yeah, this is Bill Lane, Bill Hamilton, and Wilma. And this is Minnie Hamilton, that's my grandma. Willard Lane and Nancy again.
How long did she stay with you guys?
Well, she was there most of summer. This is Aunt Katie. She was I think she was a brother of my grandpa. Not my great-grandpa, it was my grandpa, Hamilton. She had a place up at Webster there. There's 440 she owned over there. This picture, I don't know. This is us again, Sally and Minnie, Donnie, Hamilton, and Pat and Nancy.
Looks like it could be at a school or something.
I doubt it. I don't know. In the Depression days, they come to stay with us there at Blackbrook. Then the bake shop kind of closed up, and they come there and baked at night. Then my mom and my uncle would deliver the stuff around the lakes and stuff. And that's the way they lived that one summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that now?
That was kind of good because we had all those goodies, you know.
I
all the
suppose.
rejects. Fried donuts with sugar on them, you know how it is. There's back row. That's my dad there, and that's my great-grandpa there, and there's the other grandpa. My ma and Bob and my grandma.
Now, do you remember anything else like during the Depression?
Well, I don't know. Everybody was poor, so we didn't know the difference. Actually, we did better off than most of the neighbors were. At least we had butter on our bread. Some of them come to school and lard on the bread, you know. Bacon grease and sugar or something like that, you know.
I suppose with the bakers living there, that
Yeah.
eased it a little bit.
My mom always worked out too, you know. Some of those people didn't. This is my great-grandpa again here. My dad, my mom. I don't know where that picture was taken. I think it's taken off Grandpa's homestead there at Blackbrook, but I don't know.
Looks like they hung up that
Yeah, so
tapestry there on
made it
purpose.
worse than if they hadn't put it there. That's Grandpa Longshore again, and my grandma, and Minnie Hamilton. Oh, that's Uncle Bill's wife then. And that's my dad. That's Bob. And we don't know who this picture is. They say it's got a Scottish buckle on it, so it's probably something to do with that. I don't know. This is my great-grandpa and grandma. I never seen my grandma. She was dead before at least I was so young I didn't know it anyway. This is my grandpa when he was out hunting in Wyoming. And this is a picture of when we went out west. We stopped in South Dakota and visited some friends, old friends they had there, and we stayed there for 2 weeks. We spent half our money we had to go out west with. They didn't want us to go. This is the new family, me and my dad and me. This is me again. This is me and my mom, and me again. I was pretty popular. I was the only one. This is me and Dorothy. And this little.
Now, how far apart are you two?
2 years. somewhere. This picture of me feeding the chickens out in Midwest Wyoming. You see the oil wells out back there. And we come. Now we're getting progress. I must have got married. Dorothy and a baby and my grandma. That's right, west of the old Baptist church there. She roomed there. This is my grandma Holden, Kevin, or Kenny.
Now, how did you and Grandma meet?
How did we meet?
Yeah.
Well, she just about always lived with us. You know,
Why was that? No, I mean, your wife.
oh, my wife. Oh, we went to school together.
So you're basically high school sweethearts then, or?
Well, kind of, I suppose. We knew each other. This is my grandma again, and some people live there with her. This her again with Kevin, or Kenny. And this is Chuck LaDucer and Dorothy. No. It says Jack.
Dorothy, Chuck, and Jack must be the. Jack must be a baby there.
Yeah, it must have been. This is when we lived down by Trade Lake there. It's Grandma and my mom and Uncle, or Aunt Lizzie. That's Grandma's sister, and me, and Sis, and the dog. And that's a picture of Grandma again. It looks like Christmas time or something. That's her again. That's her again.
Now that was your grandmother on which side? Your mom or
My
dad?
mom, yeah. Grandma's mom. And let's see. This isn't filled in, and I don't know who they are. I think it's someone like Dad's relation. This is Charles McCune, my dad's brother, and my grandma.
And he looks like was he in the military too, or?
Yeah.
You know what he did in the military, or?
I don't know, really. Some of these pictures I don't know. This is some of Cora McEwen. That's my grandma's relation. This is just junk from school.
And what was your nickname in school? Was it Skeezix? Is that it?
Yeah. Here's a senior prophecy. John McEwen has been appointed as the new agriculture instructor of Wisconsin. It's all kind of foolishness like that about everybody. And this is pictures. We only got one page. It's quite a. It's only about a third of the kids that was there. I don't know. And different writings about different ones.
So that was when you were a senior,
Yeah.
and you graduated from.
Yeah, there's my picture right there.
What school did you graduate
That's
from?
Webster.
That's Webster. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you were in school out in Oregon, how old were you then? Was that after school or?
What? Out?
When you said you were out in Oregon, you had that class with 3 people in it.
Oh yeah, that was grade school. We graduated there. Yeah. Let's see. On that page, I think. This is football stuff.
Were you any good in sports?
Yeah, but I didn't have time to practice. I couldn't be in the mean play because I had to go home and milk cows or where I stand.
Were you mad about that, or did that not bother you too much?
It didn't matter. I played anyway, but I couldn't play in the games. I played in some of the games. I don't know what that, that's a high Y club, isn't that?
What subjects were you good in school?
Recess. Noon hour and recess. FFAs and that.
Was there anything that you wanted to be after you got out of school? Was there anything that interested you, like career-wise?
Not very much.
Did you always kind of know that you were probably going to be?
Wanted to get out of school.
Did you always know that you're probably going to end up farming?
Yeah, probably. Pretty much. This is different pictures here. That's the juniors there. There's a picture of Dorothy right in the middle. That's a sophomore class. Well, here's a picture of Dorothy when she was in beauty school. Beauty school. That's when she graduated. There's love pictures, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. Here's the old 34 Ford.
Now, when you were in school, did you ever get in any trouble?
Not much. Played hooky a couple times, but I had to bring a fort from home, but I went fishing. I was supposed to be in school. And then the principal, he laughed. He thought I was funny. And I think that made one of the other teachers kind of mad because he just didn't do anything about it, you know. Not knowing my Uncle Bill, first one, he come up just on a trip, you know, for a day or so, and we went fishing. That's in that boat later on.
You're supposed to be in school then?
I was supposed to be in school, of course. And so I told him that. That wasn't so bad. Then the next time, a friend of mine, MacArthur, he and I went up to that little round lake north of Webster, near Danbury there, with the bicycles. We went fishing with that fishing rod. We caught a lot of fish in that lake.
I was going to say, did you catch any?
Oh yeah, it's a good lake.
Oh, it was worth it then.
Yeah, I think it's worth. We learned more of that than we'd been in school. That was pretty good though. But I never got in much trouble.
Were you pretty close with your sister when you were younger too?
Oh, pretty good, yeah.
Did you two ever get in any fights or get in any trouble together?
No. When Uncle Bill's kids was there, we took heck all the time for, you know how kids are, they try to blame somebody else for something. Of course, we was always to the blame. It wasn't so bad. Yeah, then, this is a picture when we got married. This is at the little Yellow Lake Church up there, that picture. And this is back in the Baptist church there in Webster picture. That's where, that must be Kenny in there. Here's Kenny pushing Carolyn. That's out to the farm out there. Where the thing is now.
That's up in Webster?
Yeah, at the fort.
Yeah, where Fort Fallavon is now, that used to be.
Yeah, at Yellow Lake there. Yeah. They got all the buildings are leveled now. Ain't nothing there.
That's kind of sad.
Where the buildings are anyway. Where the buildings were.
What was how did that all come to happen?
Well, we sold it to the kids. All of them went together and sold it to the state. See, because they found that location there, and they bought it.
Now, is that was, they found out that was an old fort? Is that it?
Yeah.
Did you ever see any of that when you were living up there?
I never did. No. well, we thought the Indians had camped there because there was piles of rocks and stuff out there. And Marvin, that's Dorothy's older brother, he had found an old snuff box. It was brass, I guess, and they figured that was something about that. We didn't know it then, but, you know.
Huh.
There's a picture of my sister in that little cabin that Marvin had built. We had it hauled up by the other house then. And I suppose that's, I don't know if that's Kenny or somebody else. It might have been Jack or somebody too. They're about the same age. There's a picture of Grandma and Bill and Mom, or the wife. And that'd be Carolyn probably. And Kenny. There's Kenny and Carolyn eating a birthday cake or something. Here the old Ford, kind of fixing it up a little, getting one run, I suppose.
Now, was that your vehicle, or was that a vehicle that
Yeah,
you had
I
growing up?
bought that when I graduated, or just before I graduated.
So that was your first car?
Yeah,
What was it?
$100, 34 Ford.
You bought it for $100?
Yeah,
And was that a good price then, or was that a...
it was pretty fair, but it really worked on. It'd been rebored twice.
Twice?
Yeah. But it went a long ways. Dorothy used it to go back and forth to, what's that town? South of Stillwater, to a beauty shop for a while. It's the only car we had. Here we are again. It's my sister holding, I don't know who, Carol, I suppose. Maybe that's Kenny, I don't know. That's the old 34 Ford. Here we are again. Here's my sister holding Jack, or one of the kids, and me and my dad in the old 34 Ford. That's when I graduated to come up with my graduation class.
No, he didn't live in this area then?
No, he's from Oklahoma. In fact, I never seen him that I knew of before that, because my mom and dad were separated.
Now, how did that all come about? They both...
Well, they couldn't get along, so they just separated first, and then they didn't get divorced until Bill and Ma got married. All those years they were just separated.
Was that something that was hard to go through then?
I don't know, it wasn't. I was so little I didn't know the difference. I was 2.5 years old.
Oh, okay.
My sister was just a baby. She was born in Wyoming. So this is my Ma. I think that's probably when she was working down to New Richmond there. I ain't sure. This is Dorothy and holding Kenny, it says, my Ma and Grandma. This is Dorothy and my Ma. Again. And let's see, this is Chuck, the Dewitzer and Dorothy. Dorothy holding Peg. Dorothy holding Kenny. Dorothy, my sister, my wife. This is Sis again, holding Peggy. Jack and Jerry. And Chuck and Dorothy. This is a little later picture. This is the old Studebaker. See the split windshield on it. That's over at Grandma's.
Two panes of flat glass too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's by the. That's when they were a little bigger. This is Jack or Jeremy. I think, I ain't sure. Maybe that's you. Would it be?
I don't think so.
Huh?
Is it Jerry? Is that who it was?
That might be. And Sis. This is my grandma's shell down in Oklahoma.
Now, which side?
She's a mother to my dad. But she's remarried, so her name is Shell. And this is Paul. This is my dad. And this is Paul. He was a brother to me. This is Paul and me. This is a daughter of her. This is my dad and his golf cart.
Was he a golfer, or did he just have a golf cart?
He had rheumatism so bad he used that to get around.
No, he was he was in World War One.
Yeah, yeah.
And what did he do?
He drove ambulance. He drove over live people.
Probably. Did he ever talk about that?
Yeah, he almost went nuts over that because they had to go out in the dark and gather up people who were dying and hurt. And there were people laying all over, and he was sure they drove over some people who weren't dead yet.
I suppose they couldn't
That was
have
their job.
they couldn't have the lights on either. I suppose.
No, no.
Now, was that something that he did with like the Red Cross, or was that the?
No, it's in the Army. Yeah. This is Paul, my dad's brother. Sis. This is Paul. Oh, and his wife. My dad. That golf course car later tipped over. He swerved to miss a dog in the street and tipped over on him and broke his legs.
Should have hit the dog, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he died from that. He didn't, never healed up. Then he got cancer in the legs and the bone had spread over.
How old were you when he died?
I don't know. Yeah. That's when we was up at the Yellow Lake yet. He's only 60-something. This is him again. This is him again with Jerry and Jack. Him again.
Now, since you grew up with, it was Willard, right?
Yeah, a lot of time.
Did you call him Dad, or?
Oh, you mean Bill?
Yeah.
No, I didn't really. No. Willard, I kind of grew up with him. He's kind of like a brother. We did a lot of things together. A lot of things we shouldn't have done, probably. Playing hooky and going down the old Blackbrook Bridge there and smoke underneath the bridge. I was only in the second grade, and I think he was in the first, probably.
And you were smoking?
Well, the big boys went down. We tagged along. You know how it is.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's sis right there. That's just about the last she was in, because she went up here to Blackbrook when she was 1 year old, and I think that's about as old as she. That picture was taken out in Midwest.
Blackbrook, where is that at?
It's about 3 miles as the crow flies from Webster. A little south and west. I don't know who these girls are. My dad stands beside of his car there. Probably somebody's relation there in town. Yeah. Now let's see. Now this is Paul McEwen, Dorothy McEwen, Claude McEwen. That must be down in Oklahoma. This is my dad's when he got buried in Coffin. Well, here it is. Again, I don't know who's. Looks like the golf cart's got a load there. That's Kenny right there. He was down there too. He probably can remember that.
Well, he went down with you?
Yeah, well, I didn't go down because I had to. So the folks are alone. I had to take care of the cows and stuff, and sis went down with Chuck and Dorothy. Here's Claude again, Dad's brother and sis.
And did you see people like Claude more often, or they were all living down and?
They're all down there. In fact, first time I ever seen Claude is when I went down. Before my dad died, I was down there for a while. Sis and I both. Then 2-3 months later he died. This is, I don't know, is it Jack or who is it on the three-wheeler? Yeah, and then this, let's see, I ain't sure who these are. This is when we was out. I wasn't out there, but the men, they went hunting in Wyoming, in that hunting place out there up in the hills, hunting sheep. This is my Uncle Bill, and that's my grandpa.
They made a trip out there doing that?
Yeah, well, they were working there close in Midwest Wyoming, see.
Oh,
So
sure.
it wasn't far from there.
Who's that in the uniform?
We don't know. This is Dorothy and must be Kenny. Yeah, here's Kenny and Carolyn. Here's when Kenny was fishing in the ditch, he thought. That's in front of the house there where the sport is. There was a ditch around there. In the spring there was about 6 inches of water running that ditch all the time. And he thought he was going to catch a fish out there.
How old was he when that was taken?
Huh?
How old was he when that was taken?
Oh, a couple of years, I think. I don't know. And here he is again. He's got a coat made over from somebody's old stiff coat. His arms, I don't think, had even bent. The way it looks. At the same time.
That was up at Yellow Lake then.
Yeah, that was. Here's Santa Claus. There's Kenny and this would be Diane, and that'd be Carolyn. That's Jerry. He's one of the Indian boys that stayed with us.
And what was the reason that he was staying?
Oh, they went on a drunk, the whole family, and left the kids alone in the house. There was 8 of them. And so then the welfare had to find some place for him to stay.
I left him alone for like a few days, or?
Yeah. And the neighbors reported it. It's Kenny.
Did you know the family? Is that why they ended up coming to you guys, or?
No, the welfare worker, Mildred Celine, Dorothy knew her pretty well, and she called up one night after supper, wanted to want some more kids. We didn't want them very bad.
I bet that was an odd phone call to take.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I don't know who. That's me, Dorothy, Kenny, Jerry. I don't know who those 2 kids are. Here's the little cabin.
Now that little cabin was in Webster, right?
Yeah, well, it was at the fort. It was down right by the fort when it started. Then we pulled it up the hill with the stump puller and the tractor. And then we put it here, right, the driveway goes here, up by the house. Then we lived in it for 1 year.
Why were you living in that instead of the house?
Well, the folks lived in the house, in the big house.
So you lived up there, and it was.
Yeah. Then later we traded that house for a '55 Chevy car, and Marion pulled this house across the road, and that's their cabin over there now.
Traded a house for a car.
Yeah. Yeah. When we got it, it wasn't finished or anything. We finished it up. This porch wasn't built on it or anything.
I bet you wish you still had the car.
Yeah. He's down by Wood Lake, sliding. Picnic down there sometime. And Kenny give him probably Diana a ride on the bike, I don't know. Here they are again. talk about is sitting on the ground. Yeah. Here was another picture of the houses, the cabins in the background. Here we are all, look like we're dressed up, I don't know why. There's Jerry, Diane, Carolyn, Kenny. Here we are again, all dressed up.
Who took most of the pictures? Was it you or?
Dorothy, I suppose, because she done most of them. There we are again. Must be either going to Sunday school or school or something. Sure dressed up on this page. He's even got gloves on. And there we are again. Here we are, and here we are. Here's a double cab Volkswagen we had. And I don't know which one that is. That might be Kenny, or Kevin. Yeah, it must be, because here's Grandma and Grandpa holding Kevin. We took him over to Lewis during the week to stay at Ma and Bill, because I had to work. The kids went to school.
How long did that happen?
Well, till school was out. And that must be Kevin again. Oh, it must be Kevin. Yeah, here's Carolyn trying to feed Diane something. Hope it wasn't poison. She's what kids. Here's there's a Volkswagen Gibbs, so that has to be Kevin. There's Carolyn. There again. There's Kevin again. There's that cart's really got a load. My ma is sitting on it. The tractor I moved. Then we come to something different here. This is Dorothy and her sisters. That's Louise and that's Marion. And there we are. It looked like we're singing somewhere. Must be Christmas time. And here's when we had 100-year thing at the Grantsburg. We celebrated everybody.
Is that why you grew out the beard, or?
Yeah, we had everything, like wearing suspenders
What was it like with the beard?
and scratching. And let's see, that's my sis and my mom and me. That's when Ma stayed at the place down in Frederick there. That's somebody's birthday. Trying to figure out whose house this is. I don't know. Might be Sis's house in Frederick.
Gotta say, I love that picture with
Hmm?
Grandma and the
Yeah.
Trans Am.
Yeah. Wonder if that ain't Jack's car. I don't know where it come from. Oh, this is Marvin's cabin again up by the house. There's the end of the house. Here's Kenny. He was pulling me on a sled. He thought he couldn't pull me, but he thought he was pulling me. I was pushing it along.
You know, thinking back on like when like your kids were kids, do they remind you of any of the grandkids or the great grandkids as it would be right now, like Broden or anybody?
Well, they're all the same. This is my Uncle Bob now. This is his kids here. I forgot their names. This is Karen. That's Uncle Bob's wife. And all the kids. And my grandma. And Uncle Bob. One of these are me on this picture, but we don't know which one it is. I think it's this one. And Carolyn thinks it's this one. Well, that's my ma anyway. It's out west in the oil fields, but I don't know anything more about it.
Do you remember much from living out west?
I don't remember anything. I was about 2 years old when we landed over here. At, my grandpa's place, the old homestead there by Blackbrook.
Is that's the what was the reason for picking this area?
Well, my grandpa had a homestead there, see, and they come from there years before, so. This is my Uncle Bob. He was first in the CC camp, and then he went to the Army. I don't know who he is. I think that's there, but I don't know the rest of the picture. I don't know them pictures. This is some old friends over there by that fort. They're Johnsons. And there's some more lived over right there. I miss a page.
Oh, that's right.
Here's one of the old guys when we stopped there in South Dakota. You can see he's a southerner, kind of, would care less.
Looks like he's almost kind of crippled or something.
I think either that or he just leaned against the wheel. I don't know. It's an old high wagon wheel. I don't know who these are, and we don't know who this is. It's at Webster Depot. We think it's some of the neighbors when they come from the old country, probably. I don't know.
Which country would be the old country then?
Well, over at Sweden or Norway, probably. But we don't know. What is? Here's a. I don't know who is that. Looks like my sister. I don't know. Some of these things I don't know. Yeah, this is just writing about genealogy and stuff.
And Carolyn's pretty into that, isn't she?
I know. Yeah. They were trying to find out if we had Indian blood on it. We'd have enough to collect from the government if we could prove it, but we can't prove it because them days they were ashamed to be an Indian because everybody would tease them or something, so they put down they were white on the stuff, and they weren't white.
Right.
They'd put it down anyway, so you couldn't do nothing about it. They wrote anywhere, you know.
Do you think that there's any truth to it or not?
Oh yeah, yeah. My grandma was half Indian. In fact, that's her right there. That's which one is that? Charles McEwen. That's one of her sons. My dad's brother.
Well, I heard that a lot of those records were kept at the federal building in Oklahoma City too,
Yeah.
which would not be good since they blew that up.
Yeah. There's one, my dad's brother and my sister, and my dad and one of his brothers.
Now, do you think that could have been anything where it was they were ashamed of it because maybe there was something going on outside of a marriage, or?
No, I don't think so. They just they keep records like that down south. If you ever have anything to do with them, I don't know. They're so funny. They don't want anything to go out of the state whatsoever. You know.
Right.
I don't know. Some of my dad's trinkets. I don't know what they mean.
I was looking at the one. This one is Veterans of Foreign Wars, and this one says France on it. So.
Yeah, he was in France. Where the lily poppies grow. Up through all the dead corpses.
Probably woke up in the night thinking about that a few times.
Yeah. This is the grandparents of my grandma, who's Indian.
Oh, was it Cherokee then? Is that what the?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I pictured my mom when she was in the rest home there, Frederick. Yeah, And some recipes. I don't know whose recipes they are. Probably my mom's. Yeah, Grandma Lane bread and butter pickles.
I always remember her apple butter.
Oh,
Every time I see apple butter, I think of her.
that's a poem I wrote. And this is when my Aunt Minnie died. Charles L. Hamilton, when he died, he got struck by a car, by a black truck. They never could find it. It was hit and run.
That was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Had he lived in Green Bay for a while?
Yeah, he went and first he liked to drink pretty good, and he made kind of a habit of it. So my grandma put him in jail here at Grantsburg until he sobered up, and none, what was it? None support of the family or something. They put him in jail for that, see, because he drank his money away. And so then he went down and stayed with Uncle Bill down in Green Bay. That's where he got killed down there.
Do you think he was a little bit sauced when he got hit? Was that part of it, or?
I don't think so. He was working. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, this is just not much of anything. Some of this. I think we're descendants from the Scottish people, because they sent this picture and said that Scottish hat and Scottish buckle on their clothes. That's all I know about it. They don't know who it was, though.
McCune is probably a Scottish or Irish name, but Carolyn, I heard her saying one time though that she thought it was a French name for some reason.
Yeah, could be mixed up.
Who knows? They come over on the boat and they try and give you whatever name. I suppose.
Yeah.
They feel like.
Yeah. They look innocent there.
What happened, right?
Yeah. There's Carolyn, Kenny, and Kevin. Kevin the baby. Yeah.
So, what are some of your earliest memories?
The earliest tones, huh? Well, first thing I can remember is we put a cat in a box one time, and my uncle, we played with it, and it was a big tool chest, you know, pulled it around the wagon. Then at night we forgot to take the cat out, and of course the cat crapped and puked in that box. And when we had an auction at Webster, that smell was still in that box.
How long between the cat being in there and selling it was
Well,
it?
that's, I was in the 7th grade when we left Webster, and that was the first thing I can remember. I was about 2.5 years old, I think, over at Grandpa's place there. So it still stunk.
Where were the places that you lived? I know you lived, in Webster and Lake. And
I always say I'm well educated. I went through many academies of learning, many schools, about 10 schools to be exact.
Wow.
Then Webster, we come back to that school. Others we didn't come back to it.
But you lived in Wyoming, right?
Yeah, well, we lived in Oklahoma first, then went to Wyoming, then back to Webster, or up to Grandpa's there. Then the Wheeler place, east of Blackbrook. Then the railroad track by the spur. Then around the corner, we bought that house, and then got it fixed up, and then they sold it. I don't know why. And then we went to Webster and bought that house. And we kept that house. But in the meantime, my mom went down by, let's see, by Alabama Lake, and went to Alabama school. She kept house for Leo Gross there. Then we went across from Henry Orleans, and we rented a place there, and the folks kept care of some cows for somebody. And let's see now, which is which now?
You lived out west too, right?
Yeah, that's a long time yet.
Wow. Was it hard moving all those times, or?
Well, it wasn't hard for me, but I suppose it's hard for other people.
What, I suppose, was that typical then, or was that something that, to move that many times?
Well, a lot of people moved around, but not as much as we did. Because we moved to wherever Ma could work, you know, most of the time, or close.
Why was it that you had to move to where she could work?
Well, you had to get to work, you know, some way.
What kind of work did she do?
Oh, anything. When she was young, before she got married, she she cut pulpwood, peeled pulpwood, and then she helped Grandpa farm there at the old homestead.
Do you have any memories of like your mother and father when you were little, or?
I don't remember anything about Dad.
What about your grandparents?
Yeah. I remember one time at the old homestead there, I was scared to go to the toilet because there were chipmunks there, and I thought they'd bite me in the hiney. So I went out in the raspberry patch. And my great grandpa was picking raspberries, and he stepped in it.
Oh no.
And he come in the house all fuming. Dang queer that kid can't go to the toilet. I thought I was really going to catch it then, but I think the rest of them were so thought it was so funny that they never said a word to me. I can still remember that. That's the first thing I can remember. And then one time I was going to the barn. I went with Grandpa and Uncle Bob to the barn when they milked the cows at night. Years ago, they always seemed like they waited till dark till they went to do the milking and carry a lantern, you know. And we got to the barn, and Uncle Bob, he's always asking questions and wondering what to do. Asked Grandpa what he should do with a lantern. It made him mad, and he said, "Oh, blow it out." So he up and blowed it out. We was in the dark, so you couldn't see a thing. The barn, the bottom part was built in the side hill, so there was only windows on one side of the barn. It was pitch dark in there. You couldn't find nothing, you know. That was kind of funny. Of course, Grandpa didn't think it was so funny, I guess. So the kid blowing the damn lantern out.
Let's see, what else did I have? What was it like living on the farm, the one out outside of Grantsburg here? What was like a typical day like when you get up? You'd have to do.
I just had to get up and go do chores. That's about all it was.
What kind of chores did you have to?
Well, you had to feed the cows first, straighten them up, fix the bedding, and I didn't clean the barn until toward the evening usually.
Did you clean? You cleaned it every day though.
Oh yeah, I have to. Yeah. It was kind of after I started working out, and that was worse yet because I had to get up earlier and do all that stuff.
You mean having like a job outside of farming?
Yeah.
What types of things did you do?
Oh, I first worked down at Luck there for a while. G&G Implement. Well, I worked there this summer. Then I worked for Al Sealander. He built houses and stuff.
What were you doing with? What was your job at those places?
Well, I had to deliver tractors and go get some junk and, machinery or something.
Sure.
And in the meantime, I had to work on something there, something to do.
Did you enjoy working like that, or?
Yeah, it wasn't much pay. They didn't pay much. Of course, they didn't pay so much them days either. But it wasn't too bad.
You were a tax assessor for a while too, right?
Yeah, that's up here after I got married. Yeah, for 6 years. I assessed there.
Was that a job that you liked, or?
Well, it was just a little job. Got a little pay for it. But I didn't mind it. Too bad.
Now, when you were living, on Yellow Lake and Webster and Grantsburg, when it was the winter, what were the winters like?
Cold and long.
What types of things did you have to do to prepare for a winter?
Oh, well, the cattle had to have their feed all up in the storage, so you could get at it. And just the regular chores and stuff.
Yes, I asked some of these already. Oh, how did you choose the kids' names?
I don't know.
Your wife did it, right?
Well, partly, I guess. I don't know.
Don't remember all that.
I don't remember, really.
Was it hard when you had to leave the old farm?
Yeah, it kind of had, yeah.
You ever drive past it or anything?
You mean up to Webster?
No, the one in Grantsburg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I go by there once in a while, see what they're doing.
Get angry when they take down a building or anything?
No. They should have been took down before.
I drove by there on the way here, and I noticed the one sign on the end of the road, McCune Road. It does.
Yeah.
It's down, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's too bad because I wanted to yank it,
Yeah, they named the road after me. Then a little while later, I moved.
Yeah. The name stayed though.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you do for hobbies?
Oh, metal detect, and chase women.
No comment? What types of things you find when you're metal detecting?
Oh, just old, mostly junk, square nails, and horseshoes, and cowbells.
What made you get into that?
Well, I just thought it'd be kind of interesting. I wish I'd have done it a few years back when all those old houses were standing for the conservation buried them down. Bulldozed them down.
What types of things did you do for fun when you were a kid? I know you went fishing, obviously.
Mostly fishing. Yeah, when I was kind of small, I used to go out and the slingshot and shoot things.
Ever get anything big?
No, pheasants. There used to be a lot of pheasants around Webster for some reason. They'd fly and then bury in the snow and stick their head up. They didn't think you'd see them. You could get quite close to them, then you shoot them with the slingshot, And they'd let you shoot them until it hits the head. Well, when they hit the head, it'd knock them out, and then you'd run up and step on their head and pull it off, and you'd have a pheasant.
Pretty crude, but it works.
Yeah, I got quite a few of them like that. And then, of course, I fished and monkeyed around.
Most of these I've asked here. What do you remember about your wife's family?
Oh, Richard and Sina.
That's their names.
Yeah. They were, she was Norwegian, he was Swede. Some say that the Norwegian's just a Swede turned wrong side out. I don't know if that's right or not. Or the other way around, I don't know which it is.
And then Norwegians probably say it in
But
Sweden.
they were getting mad ever a little bit at each other. I don't know.
Like when you were growing up, how important was religion?
Well, pretty important.
You go to church every Sunday?
No. No, I didn't.
Well, I asked you about getting in trouble, but if you did something naughty, what would happen for punishment?
I never got naughty. Oh, I don't know. I know my mom spanked me. I don't know what for. No.
Did you ever have any dreams of being something when you were a kid? Any type of job or anything like that you wanted to do, or I don't know, be a pilot or anything like that?
No. I never dreamed like that, I don't think.
Now, when your wife got sick, how old were the kids when she first got sick?
Oh, Kevin was only two and a half years old then, so he had to go stay loose with my mom.
And it was how long between her getting diagnosed and her passing away was it?
Well, it was quite a while. Years before that, it was bothering her, but they couldn't find what was wrong with her.
What was?
She couldn't breathe once in a while. It kind of catch it and scare her. She'd almost turn purple before she'd get her breath. So she went down to cities to find out what it was. They said it's her nerves. All it was is that cancer in the diaphragm. They found out later. It was too late by the time, it spread all the way
Sure.
up her side and her breast and down her arm, and then they quick operated on her. And she almost died in the coming out of the thing too. She was laying in a room there, and two doctors and two nurses, and she was turning blue. She wouldn't breathe. But all it was, they had the bandage so tight she couldn't breathe. And I went. They come and called me and told me. I was just in the room next there. Thought she wasn't going to make it, see. And so I lifted the bandage up and hollered real loud, "Breathe," and she'd breathe. The bandage was so tight she couldn't breathe, and she was weak anyway from the operation. It tight right around here, just real tight. And I told her, get a scissors and cut the bandage. I think I swore at him too, because they should have known better.
Yeah, they are doctors after all.
It's the same thing when they bandaged my knee up, It was so tight, it didn't need to be that tight. What if it did bleed a little? They could rebandage it then. But, I don't know. So such a simple thing,
Since there was a lot,
I know how it'd be with me if I tied up. I couldn't breathe when there's nothing wrong with me.
get kind of claustrophobic, yeah.
Yeah.
Since there was so much time between.
I was kind of mad at those doctors for that, because they were watching her and everything, and
they had no
trying
idea.
to talk to her, and she was out of her head even.
Was it? How difficult was it when she finally did die?
Well, she was just weak, Yeah. Yeah, she was I went there and the room was clear then. Usually you can smell cancer patients and stuff. And that night I went there and I raised her up a little, gave her a drink of milk, and she laid down and kind of coughed a little, and then she didn't breathe anymore.
And this is in the hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
on Sea Corpo.